let me guess. You heard or were given information about a project that's collaborative in nature, led by a guy named Colonel True, call sign TOGA. You may have been given this information by a coworker, a friend, a colleague, or maybe even TOGA reached out to you directly himself. No matter where you're at, even if you've been on the project team, there's one thing that's for certain. We are all marinating in ambiguity. My name is Marcus Cuss Carry On, and this is Andy. And we're here today to curate some of TOGA's ideas, and hopefully by the end of this video, you have a better understanding about what this project's about. So, without further ado, here's TOGA.
Thanks, Cuss. Marcus is just one of the many wonderful people I've met over the last few years who have a heart for innovation, for playing with wild ideas, and for marinating in the challenge of leveraging ambiguity and empathy and disorder for the greater good. I've come to really appreciate this diverse band of entrepreneurs, or to use the motto of the Defense Entrepreneurs Forum, virtuous insurgents. I've also come to appreciate how these creative collisions aren't necessarily something you can engineer. Indeed, they often emerge from a series of happy accidents. Recently, another serendipitous moment happened when an idea fell out of the sky. Actually, it fell out of space. U.S. Space Command is a unified combatant command consisting of teammates from across the Joint Force, responsible for defending our interests in and from space.
Wouldn't it be awesome if TOGA came up with like a question or like a problem statement that we could answer?
It turns out that SpaceCom is passionate about this question. How might we embed innovative mindsets, practices, and structures into our organization? And even more exciting, asking how might they be the exemplar for agility across the Department of Defense, perhaps across the entire federal government. Now here's the truth. I don't know the answer to the question they asked me. I do, however, know where to start, and that is why I'm talking to you. If they want a designful organization, then we find designers, and we start with designing the design. Let me offer an analogy. I've gotten pretty good at building birdhouses. What SpaceCom wants, however, is a real house, a big, cutting-edge architectural masterpiece. Am I an architect just because I built birdhouses? No, of course not. But what I've learned in the building process, even on a small scale, is that you need a bias to action. You need sacrificial ideas and low-resolution prototypes and minimal viable products. Because that's how we iterate to a product that works and that wows. And that's how we learn the process of our tradecraft as designers. So let's build a treehouse to learn about the process of design and to give a tangible demonstration to leaders at SpaceCom on the power of collaborative, creative problem solving.
So we're building a birdhouse, then we're gonna take this birdhouse and expand it. All right, there's gotta be a plan, right? Like 4 steps maybe?
We will have 4 phases. In July, we practiced research on the big question: how might we embed innovative mindsets, practices, and structures into SpaceCom? We'll get answers, but continuing with this construct of parallel strategic and tactical lines of effort, we will get better at the questions themselves: who to ask, what to ask, and how to distill discovery into actionable insight. In August, we'll focus on building a treehouse that's meant to complement the mansion that SpaceCom eventually wants. This fun little experiment will leverage the research in July to design a virtual learning experience for a dozen or so students over the week of 21 September. After this workshop, the final phase is capturing the recommendations for SpaceCom leaders to give them a tour of the treehouse and invite them to imagine what we could do if even the sky isn't our limit.
Andy, you hear that?
Again, I don't know how we build that house yet, but I do have a sense of the materials we will use to construct it and furnish it. First, we need people. Experienced designers, yes, but passionate amateurs too. And we need enlisted, and we need officers. And can we get like a Chinese linguist? Yes? Then yes. And Air Force civilians and great people outside the Department of the Air Force. How about a nuclear sub guy? Yes. But let's keep looking outside the military, like artists, workshop facilitators, entrepreneurs. Hey, let's add an elementary school vice principal. Heck yeah. Then let's add inspiration from some big names such as Pixar and PepsiCo and Arizona State University. And let's go to some other people as well that may not be as well known. IDEO, Duarte, Idea Farm, Next Jump. And let's go to the quirky, like a place that puts you in character, in a costume, in a castle for a week to learn about creating extraordinary experiences. Yeah, let's learn from that place too. So let's mix all these together with some improv, some design thinking, some science fiction prototyping, and even some Lego. Let's throw it all in the mix, because I think what comes out of that is something magical, a heroic journey of innovation. And I hope you'll join us on that adventure. If you're ready, the first step is jumping into our virtual playground. To collaborate remotely, we're using a program called Miro. And we have access to the board thanks to the support of CyberWorks. So CyberWorks, along with multiple other organizations, are all providing support for this effort. So in a moment, I'll pass it back to Cuss. He'll give you the tour and some instructions for how to get familiar with that program. Over to you, Cuss.
Hey Toga, thanks for that explanation. Andy is white. Let's get to the Miro board. Okay, welcome everybody to our Miro board. This will be the same board we'll be using throughout the entire project. So as we continue to build, the products will just be continued to move to the right here. So as you can see, before we get into the Miro board, you'll see there's a whole panel of functions on the left-hand side. If you want to learn how to use those functions, there's a start here menu. And you see number one is watch this Miro. So Tamara, one of our designers, has made this video for us to get a baseline knowledge of how to use Miro. So if you want to start there, she explains the ins and outs of using some of the basics of this program. So thanks, Tamara. And then after you get kind of familiar with how to use Miro, this is where our profiles are. So as we gain more people, we'd like to know a little bit about each other, since TOGA has randomly picked some people from all over industry and academia and in the Air Force and all over DoD. So let's get to know each other, put your profile pictures in there, and that's a great way to practice your Miro skills. And then as we move on, we need to get to know our customer. So we go down to here, and this is where our customer information is. Right now this project is for US Spacecom. So if you don't know about US Spacecom, here's a little bit of an organizational fact sheet on them. And then if we go back over to here, so here's where some important dates will be listed. As we move forward, we'll try to continue to update that. And then also we'll try to post the slide docs. We'll be using Zoom as well as Miro board at the same time during the meetings. And so if you've missed a meeting and you still want to contribute, then we'll try to post the link there. And so you can just have a one-stop shop. But as we get into it, this is week one. We talked about interviews and planning. We're going to come back to that. So when we do get into interviews, here is where we're going to look at interview techniques. We have already some stuff going on in here that we discussed, and then we have some more resources. So this is an easy tool that if you have a document or a picture or anything you want to just drop into the board, it's a great way to do that. Here's a list of people that we're planning on interviewing, so if you have people in mind, just continue to add those people in there. Now we have some templates, and then week two we got into analogous inspirations. As you can see, there's a template here, so there are some templates on the side here that you can choose from, so you can drop those in if you have an idea and you just want to organize it, then you can do that. Now, after each meeting, here's week two. This is some of the people that were involved. We'll do a retrospective to kind of give feedback on where we need to go and what we need to do, and if somebody's confused, you can post it there, so please do that. So that's a tour of our Miro board. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
First, I just want to end by saying thank you. Thank you for what you do, and I hope everyone is feeling safe, supported, and stretched in meaningful ways.